Hello friends. Today in this video I am going to be telling the story of the 2018 horror thriller film Hellfest. Hellfest centers around a group of friends that head off to a horror-themed amusement park and a deranged serial killer is on the loose. The friends do not know what is real or what isn't real when the killer confronts them all, and they do not take him seriously at all. They will soon find out he is the real deal and not anyone to mess around with inside these haunted houses. Want to find out if anyone makes it out of the park alive or if the killer gets the job done? Stick around to find out because spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. The movie begins with a group of girls at a horror-themed amusement park that has many haunted houses for them to go through. They go through one and one of the girls gets separated from the others, and as she is walking through the haunted house, a masked man starts following her, and she thinks it's just a part of the act. But then he stabs her and hangs her from the ceiling for her to blend in with the other decorations. Next we meet our main character, Natalie, arriving at her friend's house named Brooke. She is in town visiting for the weekend, and we also get to meet Brooke's roommate, Taylor, that Natalie doesn't really care for too much because they are complete opposite personalities. They all are planning to go to the horror-themed amusement park tonight to go see some haunted houses with a few of their friends. Natalie's huge crush Gavin is going to be there too, and Brooke is excited to hook them up. The horror festival is called Hellfest, and they all have VIP passes. Hey, all head to Hellfest, and it will be Natalie, Brooke, Taylor, Gavin, Quinn and Asher. Quinn is Brooke's boyfriend and Asher is one of Taylor's best friends. They start walking around the park and there are scary people everyone that are always trying to scare them and make them shit their pants. We can tell Natalie and Gavin are really digging each other. We then see a man walk into the park alone and are led to believe he is the killer. We don't actually get to see his face yet though. He does end up putting on his murdering mask and he steals a knife off of one of the food stands to presumably use as his murder weapon. We then get a long montage of the friends going through the different haunted houses and mazes, having a grand old time with each other and enjoying the night. That is until they are in one of the houses and a girl runs in the room with them asking for help, and they just assume it is a part of the scare. Then the masked killer walks in and stabs her in front of Natalie, and Natalie is pretty damn scared by it because it looks so real, but she just chalks it up as good practical effects. As they leave the building, the masked killer follows her out and stares at her while she walks away with her friends. All the couples spread off from one another so they can all have alone time with their significant other, and Natalie and Gavin walk around the park telling each other that they like each other and are crushing hard. Typical teen love stuff, you know. They even do the whole romantic take pictures in the photo booth thing, and while they are inside of it, we see the killer walking towards them, and when they aren't looking, he takes their photos of them kissing and walks away. They aren't able to catch him, and then the others want to go do the popular haunted house. But Gavin stays behind because he wants to go when Natalie a stuffed animal to give to her. But he sucks at games, so he has to pay off the ring toss guy and doesn't want her to know. He wants her to think he won at playing the game. Gavin goes to ask the guy if he can just buy one of them, and the dude says he can't because he would lose his job. Gavin then sneaks into one of the locker rooms where they keep some of the prizes, and he does end up finding one to give to Natalie. But whenever he shuts the locker, the deformed masked killer is right there next to him. The killer then beats his ass and smashes his head with a big hammer, and bye-bye Gavin. Lover boy didn't make it too long. The killer then grabs Gavin's phone and texts Natalie that he has a surprise for her. They all go ride a ride, but since Gavin isn't back in time, Natalie has to ride it alone, and she is not feeling it at all. The ride then randomly stops and the lights turn off and she cannot figure out what is happening at all, and then she sees the deranged masked killer off in the distance, and the lap bar is stuck and she can't get it off at first. But then we find out it is just a worker wearing the exact same mask, and then she is reunited with her friends. Brilliant on the killer's part if we're being honest. Won't be easily recognized. A bunch of hooded monsters then walk up to them and ask them to walk with them to the next attraction. The guys go in one door, and the girls go into another. The killer also arrives to the same attraction, and I think he has a thing for Natalie. The girls are walking through a room that has a bunch of hands hanging out of prison cells, and some of them are real people, and they start grabbing the girls, freaking them the hell out. And they run out of the room as fast as possible, and then on the way out, Natalie sees the deformed masked guy on the other side of the glass window, and she is scared shitless of him at this point, and runs out of the house to her friends. Natalie is scared to the point that she doesn't even want to be there anymore. One of the guys, Asher, is still in the haunted house, and then we jump to see him getting killed by the deformed masked guy by taking a screwdriver straight to the eyeball, and no one has any idea where he is, and they are waiting outside for him. While they are waiting, Natalie goes into the bathroom to clean herself up, and she has something stuck in her hair that she wants to get out of it, and while she is using the air dryer to heat her hair, the killer is standing right next to her wanting to touch her face, and she has no idea. She then goes into a stall to pee and text Gavin, and whenever she clicks send, she hears a text tone in the bathroom as well. She starts yelling that she is going to call the cops, and he starts shaking the stall door and grabbing her head from above the stall. She runs out of the bathroom and goes to tell security someone is stalking her, but they don't really believe her. The security guard just tells them their friend Gavin is pranking them and there is nothing he can do about it without hardcore evidence something nefarious is taking place. A public show takes place in front of the crowd and they are using Taylor as the volunteer to help with the show. It is supposed to be part of the act, and then they place Taylor in a guillotine. But it's not supposed to be real and just a prop. But Natalie thinks it is real because the person assisting her has the same boots on as the killer has. Natalie runs up to help Taylor, but security won't let her by. While that is going on, the masked helper goes up to Taylor behind the curtain and tries to chop her head off, but the blade isn't sharp enough and Taylor is able to wiggle out and run away. The killer then follows Taylor and Quinn tries to stop him, and this results in Quinn getting stabbed by the killer for trying to be the hero. The whole park starts freaking out because they realize there really is a killer on the loose and he is still stalking Natalie and Brooke. For some reason, they decide to run into a haunted house instead of trying to leave the park like literally everyone else is doing. Got to love horror movie decision making. They run into a haunted house and hide in a secluded room and the killer is right outside of the door, but doesn't hear or see them at first. After they think he is gone, they get out of the room and start running through the rest of the haunted house until they come to a dead end which freaks Brooke out, because she knows the killer is in the house with them. Natalie tries calming her down because if they are too loud, they can just dig their graves for the killer, and she wants them to get out alive. They start slowly walking through trying their best not to make any noise, but they aren't very good at it because the killer shows up behind them and he is able to slice Brooke's arm up a bit, but she is still able to keep running away. They go into a room full of white masks, and they try their best to disguise themselves with the white masks so the killer won't notice them. But he can tell something is off, and as soon as he hits one of them, Natalie comes out from the other side and starts trying to beat his ass. As Natalie is fighting with the killer, Brooke is trying to find them a way out, but she isn't having very much luck and then the killer knocks out Natalie for a second to go find Brooke. As he is about to kill Brooke, Natalie wakes back up and slices his leg with a knife and they run out of the room. As they are running, cops show up in the haunted house to go and are there to find the killer. But of course, no one is there where he was stabbed and he was able to get away. Next thing we see is the killer arriving to his house in his van where he goes and puts his mask next to his others for his killer mask collection like a weirdo. He then walks into his living room and his daughter is there sleeping on the couch waiting for him to come home. He is just a normal, average white man, but decides to go and kill people in his free time, I guess. That is where the movie ends. The killer gets away, but at least Brooke and Natalie were able to get out alive. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.